What's up, you guys? Teddy Striker here. And last Saturday, Dricus Du Plessis beat Sean Strickland again. And now I feel like his next four opponents are some very exciting fights, but I'm not sure if any of them are actually going to be able to beat Dricus Du Plessis. But in this video, I want to talk about who I think out of these four fighters has the best chance of beating Dricus Du Plessis. And these four fighters are Nassourdine Imavov, Khamzat Chimaev, Alex Pereira, and Caio Borralho. I'm going to start off with who has the lowest chance to the highest chance of beating Dricus Du Plessis. And with all that being said, let's just get right into it. And the fighter who I think has the lowest chance of beating Dricus Du Plessis is actually going to be Caio Borralho. And now Caio Borralho, he's a good fighter. He's able to control the distance very well. He's well-rounded too. But when I look at his fights, I feel like...
But I'm of the belief that Magomed Ankalaev has been in 18 mixed martial arts competitions and 0 fucking fights. So Saturday night, he's going to be in a fight.
And I'm not trying to disrespect Caio Borralho, but I feel like he's probably been in one dogfight in his career, and against Dricus Du Plessis, being in those dogfights is going to help so that you're going to be able to continue fighting hard against Dricus. You're not going to fold under that pressure, and you're going to have a chance to win. And I feel like out of all these fighters, he's probably been in the least amount of dogfights. And also, I think that he has the lowest stopping potential out of any of these fighters. I believe he's got nearly like a 50% finishing rate. He hasn't really finished anyone in the UFC. I think he just finished maybe 2 fights out of like 8 fights. So he has a very low finishing rate, but I don't think he'll do that well against Dricus Du Plessis, and I think that Dricus will be able to find a way to finish him. But someone who has a higher chance of beating Dricus is actually going to be Nassourdine Imavov. I feel like Imavov has more finishing potential. He's got faster hands, and I feel like he is more powerful than Borralho. I feel like one point where he might be lacking is his endurance, but then again, I'm only saying that because he's been in those dogfights, and he did look tired at the end of it, but everybody does. So it's like, is his endurance really that bad? I don't know, but he's been in dogfights against guys like Joaquin Buckley, against Sean Strickland, and against Brendan Allen just recently. And he continued to fight hard, and if Dricus Du Plessis goes at him like that, he is going to be in a somewhat familiar setting. He's also got solid counter-striking, I would say, probably better than Borralho. We've seen... Imavov go out there against better fighters and be able to put them, counter them pretty well. And even in the Cannonier fight, he was able to finish Cannonier. And we saw Borralho, when he fought Cannonier, that was 2 months after he got finished by Imavov. And Cannonier clearly wasn't at his optimal best because that was a short notice fight. And he just went through a 4-round fight where he took a lot of damage. And Borralho, he did drop him real bad in the end, but he didn't quite get the finish on Cannonier, and it took him until the last round to be able to really hurt Cannonier, who was getting rocked by pillow fist Marvin Vettori. But moving on to the last 2 fighters, which are Khamzat Chimaev and Alex Pereira, who I think have the highest chance of beating Dricus out of anyone, and the guy who has the second highest chance of beating Dricus, in my opinion, is going to be Khamzat Chimaev. And Chimaev is very good. He's got incredible grappling. He's very dangerous when he gets you to the ground. And to be fair to him, once that doesn't work, he's still able to get some takedowns in the second and third rounds, and potentially even still win parts of those rounds like he did against Kamaru Usman. And in a 5-round fight, I feel like Khamzat will pace himself a lot better. I don't think he'll be using as much energy as he did to potentially finish a guy like Kevin Holland or Robert Whittaker. I think he'll be maybe a tad bit more patient, conserve his energy a bit more, because Dricus is a good grappler too. We've seen when Khamzat goes against guys who can grapple like Gable Burns and Kamaru Usman, guys who can grapple really well, he did struggle, and part of that is because they understand the offense side of the grappling. They understand how to break their opponents down. So when someone's trying to do that to them, they can recognize, oh, okay, this is what I would do to break you down, and this is how you stop that. And one thing is Khamzat is you also gotta make sure you're always facing him. He tries to get his to his opponent's back a lot, but if you're able to keep that overhook on him and not really give up your back, you could potentially do good. And also, like, if you do give your back, you gotta, try to, like, Grammy roll out so that you potentially get back to your guard. But Khamzat will try to follow you. So you gotta be ready to hit some Pantoja level scrambling in there against Khamzat, so he doesn't get to a dominant position over you where he can look for his submissions and things like that. But I think that Khamzat will be able to get some takedowns over Dricus Du Plessis. Maybe he can just shoot for takedowns or try to catch his kicks. But when they do get on the ground, I feel like Dricus Du Plessis is going to be able to stay safe enough. And, he is a powerful guy. He's not really too technical when he gets back up to his feet after getting taken down. But he does remain calm, and he is very, very tough. And not to say Whittaker isn't tough, but we have seen Robert Whittaker get finished in the first 2 rounds several times over the course of his career. Well, it was Dricus Du Plessis. We've seen him get, put out once and get submitted very early in his career. But outside of that, he always fights hard. He always looks for a way to win. And I just don't really see him wilting under Khamzat's game. And he knows what Khamzat is going to bring early on. It's just about, can you survive that storm? And I believe Dricus can. And when they get to the feet, there's a lot of openings for Dricus. He's got a very powerful 1-2. We've seen Khamzat get clipped with 1-2 several times in his career. He has like a high guard, but there's an opening for straight punches in the middle, and Dricus is very powerful. And Khamzat Chimaev doesn't really move his head, so he's going to be there to, get hit. And Dricus Du Plessis just went out there and completely broke the guard of one of the hardest fighters to hit in the middleweight division, and Sean Strickland. And going up against a guy like Khamzat Chimaev isn't going to be as hard and as difficult to get some shots on him. So, there's openings on the feet, but the grappling for Chimaev is going to be very, very tough for Du Plessis early on. But I think that he can weather the storm and actually beat Chimaev. But the fighter who I think has the highest chance of beating Dricus Du Plessis is Alex Pereira. And this fight is going to be at 205, and I feel like Pereira in that weight class is just so much more durable. He's so much more powerful as well. And one thing about Pereira as well is I feel like he's, out of anyone on this list, he's probably fought the most fighters who are kind of similar to Dricus Du Plessis. He's going out there against Jiri Prochazka, who's very weird and unorthodox. He's also bigger than Dricus Du Plessis, and in my opinion, he hits harder than Dricus as well. And he's also going against Khalil Rountree, who utilize a great blitz, and we know Du Plessis is going to be blitzing all over the place against Pereira. And one thing that Du Plessis and Khalil Rountree do in common, well, first of all, they both, throw kicks, and Khalil Rountree, he didn't throw that many kicks, but he did seem to hurt Pereira with a body kick at one point. And Dricus loves his body kicks, but also whenever they get hit or they get close to getting hit, they immediately rush back with a big combination to stop the momentum of their opponents and kind of kill their offense. And Pereira has already dealt with that. And look at this clip. Like, he throws a beautiful high kick and his opponents try to rush in, but he's able to catch him with a clean left hook that puts him out cold. And I think he can do something very similar to Dricus Du Plessis. Also, at the start of Dricus' blitz, he can just catch him just with a left hook. And he's done this in the past against orthodox and southpaw fighters. And, Pereira is just, like, dangerously powerful. Like, it's not like getting hit by Sean Strickland or Israel Adesanya. Like, you start getting clipped by him, you're not going to make it out of one round. And he's also got the light kicks that could take him out. And he's always in the proper position, properly balanced to defend the takedowns very well. So I just feel like he has a lot of things to beat Dricus Du Plessis. But it is Dricus Du Plessis. Maybe Pereira might get him hurt, get him up against the fence, start teeing off on him, and then boom, Dricus Du Plessis knocks him the hell out and he just wins. But I feel like out of anyone, Alex Pereira has the best chance of beating Dricus Du Plessis. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know who you think has the best chance of beating Dricus Du Plessis down below. Make sure you guys like and subscribe and tune in for more. God bless, and I'll see you next one.